Do you recall the important words Oda mentioned at the end of 2022 referring to this year 2023? If you forgot, let me remind you. Jump Festa 2023. What did Oda say? He said that this year would be a battle royale free-for-all. Crazy stuff. And so far, we've been getting it for damn sure. However, he also said, I hope that no one dies. Now for Oda, that's a big deal. Because even though we've seen people, quote, die, like Pedro, like potentially Virgo and Monet, of course, way more likely Ashura Doji and Izo. Yeah, they're definitely dead. Kinemon, though. Kiku, though. Pound. Oh, yeah. Absurd. In real time, Oda is known for having a little more Teletubby in him than Genocidal Maniac, which we tend to see more in the flashbacks, where in the flashbacks, oh yeah, bodies hit the ground. It doesn't matter who, whether it's women, children, elderly, it doesn't matter. People die in waves in flashbacks. He loves this stuff. He can't get enough of it. But in real time, we're potentially seeing a little more intensity when it comes to Oda's ferocity. Oda potentially raising his cutthroat level here because Pythagoras the Wise got crunched and crushed like Android 16 before Gohan snapped, or Shaka the Good. DAD? There's a good chance he is. In fact, you could argue all the Vegapunks, SSG, including the main Stella body, could be at risk of death. And we're seeing this kind of play out in real time. Of course, we'll see how it all plays out coming in the arc, but right now, Oda seems to be a little more cutthroat. And moving forward, I would say in the near future, let's say the next 1 to 2 years, there are 3 cats on the chopping block, major characters, that I'm really like, they could kick the bucket. Number 1, once again, Dr. Vegapunk, the main Stella body. There are some really good cases and arguments to make for having Vegapunk die in the story now, moving forward, because in a general sense, he knows information that the Strats should find out themselves later on in the story. So potentially, Vegapunk kicks the bucket for good. That's number 1, the main Stella body. Number 2, Garp. Now, I know a lot of folks want Garp to Mad Lad, run in there, 1v10 Titanic captains and Blackbeard himself. But the fact of the matter is that that's just extraordinarily unlikely. But recall these notions. While BB was on Winter Island, he would have other boys elsewhere to try and take the poneglyph rubbings from Kid and Luffy. And that was a pretty cool idea that the quote traitor of the Vegapunks was not a Vegapunk, but it was actually City of the Rain, Katarina Devon, and Laffy, 3 of the best members of the Blackbeard Pirates at Infiltration. Unfortunately, we now know who the traitor is, and that is York the Greed. So it seems very unlikely that the other captains would be elsewhere and are actually still on Hachinoso Full Lead Island, which makes it really, really tough for someone like Garp to get in there and just grab Kobe in a snatch and grab. And in a general sense, the first thought is, yeah, it's a good chance to go since Blackbeard isn't there. But recall also what Prince Gru said in chapter 1061, where he noted that that island has an armada of men and pirates there at their disposal. We saw how much the numbers mattered during Wano Country, so surely the numbers must matter in this situation. Recall Thriller Bark and how huge it was when we first went there in the pre-time skip? Well, just look at how small Thriller Bark is compared to Hachinoso Full Lead Island. So just in terms of sheer scale, the forces, the number of pirates there must be tremendous. It wouldn't even surprise me that in terms of sheer number, there'd be more pirates on that island than even on Onigashima during the raid. If Garp wants to have a successful mission to save Kobe, he needs, I think, stronger allies. And Prince Groose does mention Drake, who is MIA since Wano Country, so he could make a return here to help out a fellow member of Sword. And of course, Sword is important here, because there are potentially other top class members of Sword that could assist Garp. One of them, which I think is a very, 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 very fair option, is Kuzan. If Kuzan is a member of Sword, and he's clearly shown his loyalty to Blackbeard by capturing Pudding in the cover stories of 1063 and 1064, this will give him a great in that area to save Kobe if he's on that island. I would say it is very likely that he is an ally of Garp, since way back when he first fought against Luffy, he mentioned that he had owed Garp a favor or two. So Kuzan assisting Garp, I think, is a very fair play. Off chance that Kuzan is actually like a bad guy through and through now. That's an off chance. That's number one. But number two and number three on the chopping block of cats that could die in the next 1 to 2 years, Sengoku the Buddha.
Straight up.
Now, how does Sengoku slide on in? Well, there's a solid chance, I'd argue, that Law gets captured by Blackbeard if he can't run away. Might die, but I have my doubts. I know people want that one moment where Blackbeard, Mr. All Day Every Day, just says, "Room." Could it happen? But I have my doubts. However, Law is the only person in the world that Sengoku can share his memories of Rocinante with. Rocinante is kept alive through their memories of him. Plus, Sengoku 1000% knows something about the Will of D, the D clan, based on his convo with Law in chapter 798, which of course that D-clan greatness is one of the main driving factors for Rocinante to protect and try and save Law. And Law, whose current goal is to seek out the truth of the world itself after beating Doflamingo, if Sengoku also pulled up with Garp and there is a second Law and Sengoku interaction, Sengoku could tell Law what he knows about the D-clan. Particularly when you have the convergence of 3 D-clan members in the case of Law, obviously, then Garp, and Blackbeard. So Sengoku could tell him the truth now, particularly now that we know, since Dressrosa, Law's endgame has been to find out more of the truth of the world itself, and he was clearly doing that during the Onigashima raid. Finally, there is a theory that Law is a member of Sword. I myself am not really buying it, but I think this would all, of course, tie back to the Rocky Port incident, which, of course, ever since Blackbeard captured Kobe, has expanded in scale and importance. Law was touted to be the mastermind of that major Rocky Port incident, and Kobe was the hero protecting the people. Was he already stationed there, or was he given orders to go there? Was he given these orders by a particular higher up who likes eating fried rice crackers on a regular basis, who just so happens to need glasses? Why was Kobe there in the first place? And Blackbeard benefited greatly from Kobe's involvement in the Rocky Port situation, something I doubt any Marine or Sword members had planned on happening, but that's what happened. So in short, the play to save Kobe could also be a junction point for where all major people and players involved in the Rocky Port incident meet. Especially if, let's say, next to Kobe, locked away somewhere on Fullhead Island, there's also Choku, Wang Ji, the former ruler of the island, also locked away next to Kobe. These are more and more and more incentives, you can argue, on so many fronts that someone like Sengoku would be involved. This goes double if Law is captured. Absolutely. Of course. This could all be out of pocket, but I really think that Garp's situation would expand to something much bigger, much deeper than just a simple grab and snatch and get Kobe, or Garp one-man armies the entire raid by himself.
By myself!
And like a few random henchmen, plus Helmeppo. Had my doubts. Though, if you caught on, the downside to all of this is if Law gets captured, that means that Blackbeard is en route or already back on Fullhead Island. So don't be surprised if Garp or Sengoku, Garp and Sengoku, the old guard of the Marines, start to hear the whistle of death, especially when Oda is feeling a lot more cutthroat, allegedly, for this final saga of One Piece. So on that note, let me know where you stand on this topic. Of course, if you enjoy my content at large in this video, make sure to do what? Rate the video with a thumbs up. Of course, subscribe to the channel and click on that bell to join the notification squad. I'm gonna catch you cats on the flip side.